join me in giving Jesus Perez a really warm welcome. Let's hear it.
Those are some very kind words, huh? Yes. Wow. I have to say, I have to take a minute here and just take this in. You know, it's a proud moment for me. And I'm gonna give you a speech, and I really speak from the heart. So you have to excuse me if I get emotional at times. You know, but looking out and seeing so many young Latino men taking a proactive role in their life is it's a huge thing for me. You know, and I thank you guys for being here and letting me share my story with you guys. We have some slides and I have some pictures I'm going to show you. Some of them are a little embarrassing, but it's okay. But one thing, you're going to have to excuse the quality. We used to have this stuff called film. I know a lot of you probably don't know what that is. But there was no redos back in the day. You know, you would take a picture and that's it. So you're going to see some pretty horrendous looking pictures. You know, so bear with me, right? Everybody's story starts with a love story, and mine is no different. This is a picture of my parents. Like I said, they were born in Zacatecas. And there's a couple things I want you to notice in this picture. I don't know if you can see it because of the quality, but my mom's holding onto a milpa leaf, right? And on the other end of it, my dad's holding onto the tip. And my mom tells a story when she looks at this, that back in the day, she used to think my dad ever touched her, she'd get pregnant. Right, so this is the workaround that they came up with, that they had this milpa leaf. And so after 9 years of holding onto a milpa leaf, you know, my dad got kind of tired, and he kept, you know, saying he was going to kidnap her and whatnot. So eventually, he made an honest woman out of my mom. And he married her. And there's a couple things I want you to notice here. First of all, my dad's shoes, right? The guy looks like he just came out of the huerta. He was working, full of mud and whatnot. And then my mom's shoes, pristine. Right? The thing about my mom is my mom grew up dirt poor. You know, and when she looks at this picture, she tells the story of how long she had to work to save up the money to buy those shoes. You know, 39 years later, she still has those shoes somewhere in the closet. You know, it's just a reminder, you know, of the struggles she had to go through growing up. Right? This is a 1958 Chevy pickup. And you might be wondering why I'm showing you this picture. It doesn't fit in. So, you know, by this time my dad had been coming back and forth from the U.S., right? Illegally, of course. But this truck is one of the ways my dad got into this country one time. You know, and the funny thing is, you know, he didn't get in driving it. He didn't get in as a passenger. And he didn't even get in, you know, hidden in the bed of the truck under a pile of junk. The way my dad got into this country one time was in the engine bay of one of these trucks. Imagine that for a minute. The scorching heat of an exhaust pipe right next to you. You know, he tells me the story that as they were crossing the border, you know, he could see through the wheel well, right? And he saw the Immigrante's feet as he was walking back and forth. And how nervous he was going to get caught. But these are the things to show you the things our parents did, right? So we could have the opportunities that they didn't. These are the kind of things they did, was sneak over to this country, right? They're not breaking any laws. They want a better life for us. That's all they were doing. Right, so when he got to this country, this is a picture of my tío Domingo with my uncles and my dad. Now, my tío Domingo, I call him the Harriet Tubman of my familia. Because he's the one that brought over all my uncles, he gave them a place to stay, he got them jobs, and he let them all live in his house. Now, this is a house I grew up in. This is a house my parents own now. And my dad tells a story of my bedroom when I was growing up was where everybody slept, everybody that came over. And at one time there was 8 people from my family sleeping in that one little room that I called my room. You know? So this man, you know, of course my dad was here. The next step was to start a family, you know. So my brother was born, and then I came, and then my little sister. So some of the things I remember very vividly from growing up, you know, was we grew up with a lot of animals in our backyard. We had chickens, we had rabbits, we had a goat. And mind you, we didn't grow up in a farm property. We grew up in the middle of a working class suburban neighborhood in San Fernando, 7,500 square feet, and we had a collection of animals in the backyard. It made for very interesting times, you know, when we had friends over, we had all the animals there. One of the other things I remember was our annual trips back to Mexico. You know, so this is me and my dad's macho. We absolutely love that macho. Every time we went back, we would ride him around. The other thing to notice is I'm always in diapers for some reason. My mom tells me that it seemed like I was almost allergic to pants every time I was in Mexico because I would rip them off and I just wanted to run around in my diaper. You know, so some of the pictures there. And then, of course, growing up, how could we ever forget the being at the parties at the park? So this is me. And people wonder why Latinos are so good at baseball. You know? Look at that. And the thing to notice here is look at the size of the stick compared to me. It's like twice as tall. It's almost like cheating, you know? I don't get it. But those are the things I remember right from growing up. So then naturally the next step for me was to start school. This is my kindergarten picture. And if you haven't found me, I'm that handsome looking devil right there in the city, right? Look at that. It's kind of sad for me to see that I peaked fashion. My peak fashion was in kindergarten, you know? It's all been downhill since then. But I remember first going to kindergarten, I was really scared, you know? I couldn't read the books my brother was bringing home. So I remember one day, I came home and asked my mom for help on my math homework. And there's something about my mom that I haven't told you. My grandfather died when she was really, really young. And my grandmother wasn't the best person in the world. So my mom was forced to go work outside to make money for the family. And because of that, she never went to school. So to this day, my mom's illiterate. She can't read, write in any language, you know? So when I came home, you know, not knowing any better, I was a young kid, and I asked my mom for help on my math. So my mom did, not knowing any better, she went into the cupboard, she got out a pile of frijoles. She put them on the table. And that's how she taught me how to do math. Is on a kitchen table with a pile of beans in front of us, you know? And those pile of beans worked miracles for me. In no time at all, I became math whiz, you know? And what I remember is the teachers would praise me, right, for being such a good student. And I liked the feeling. But the feeling I liked even more is when my mom would come to parent-teacher conference night, and she would get showered with the praise. And I see the smile on my mom's face. You know, and it made me feel like $1 million. And I got hooked to that feeling. It was like my drug. You know, that's what drove me. That's what inspired me to do, you know, to keep working hard, is to see that smile on my mom's face. You know? And you know, so junior high came, and it was a critical moment for me. I had this wonderful junior high math teacher, Mrs. Ledford, 8th and 9th grade. She's a huge woman, Stanford educated, Olympic swimmer. She pulled me aside one day. She said, you know what you want to do with the rest of your life? I'm like, you know what, I really like cars, I want to be a mechanic. She's like, no, you're far too intelligent to be a mechanic. You should be designing cars, not fixing them. He goes, and you're smart enough that if you want to be an engineer, because that's what you should be doing, you should have to start thinking about schools like MIT, Stanford, Caltech, Berkeley. Those are the schools you want to get into. So she really planted that seed back in 8th grade. When she pulled me aside, you know, she took the time to do that. And that was my new goal in life, right? I had a goal. I want to be an engineer, and these are the schools I want to get into. So that was it. In high school, I just drilled in, and I applied, you know, and then I'll tell the story of when I got into MIT, right? So I got my rejection letter from Stanford, and then I got mine from Cal. And then a good friend of mine that got into MIT before me, right? He had gotten his, and I hadn't gotten mine. And I was like, why haven't I got a letter? So I went into the office and I told them, can I make a phone call? I need to call a house. They're like, yeah, call. And I lived a block and a half away from the school. So I called my mom, did I get an envelope? She's like, yeah. I go, is it big or is it small? Right? Because that's always a key question. She goes, no, it's pretty big. So I ran home, and as soon as I opened the letter and I read it, I started crying and screaming and this. And I can't forget the look on my mom's face. As happy as she was, I could also see the sadness in her eyes because she realized that I was finally going to leave. And she was going to have a hard time with that. You know, so I went back to school, I was screaming, running across campus. It was a beautiful thing for me, you know? But one of the things, it was such a happy moment for me, and my parents couldn't understand why I wanted to go away so far to go to school. You know, so they couldn't understand the significance of getting into a school like MIT. So one day, you know, my dad's at work, and my dad's a janitor. He's been a janitor for 40 years. And something about my dad, for those 40 years, 30 of those years, he's had perfect attendance, where he doesn't call in sick, never shows up late, never leaves early. The man has a work ethic like no other, and that's what he instilled in me, is that work ethic. But he went to work one day, and one of his coworkers, you know, he knew I was graduating high school. He's like, you know, what's your son doing? Where's he going? And he works with some of the engineers that restore cars, antique cars. He goes, oh, he got into the school, MIT in Massachusetts. He goes, the guy's jaw hit the floor. He goes, was the son of a janitor, you know, is going to one of the best universities in this country. You know, I think for my dad, that's when he realized what had happened for me. So he came home that day, you know, and I've seen my dad cry twice in my life, really. Well, back then, you know, he was a really hard man. Since then, he's gotten a little softer. The first time was when he couldn't go to my kindergarten graduation. You know, he was devastated. I don't know why. I couldn't understand. I was a kid. But the second time was that day he got home, after his friend told him that. You know, and he looked at me, and he gave me that hug. And it was just me home. To see the son of a humble janitor make it to such a place. You can't imagine what that makes me feel like as a father. And I remember those words, you know, take him to my grave. Such a beautiful thing for me, you know? Remembering that, you know, so I went on to MIT, and it was not an easy place. It was you leave 3,000 miles away, you leave everything you love behind, you know. But quitting was not an option. You know, after everything my dad and mom had gone through, you know, I was determined to make it. But at the same time, you question, do you really belong at a place like that? You know, so I was determined. And you know, my first year at MIT, even though we were on pass no record, my first year at MIT, I got straight A's. Something that I couldn't even fathom doing. You know, a young kid from San Fernando, growing up from a school in the barrio, now you're going up and competing against people that were bred to go to these Ivy League schools. You know, they went to these private universities, or private high schools. And you're coming here from the barrio, and I was able to do something like that. I mean, it really showed me that I do belong here, and I can be at this place. It was a powerful, you know, realization for me. And it was, but I, you know, so 4 years later, of course, I made it to graduation. You know. My dad's company actually paid for my family to go see me graduate. You know, it was a proud moment in all my life. But there's a couple of things I want you to notice in this picture. First thing, of course, my dad representing with his LA Dodger hat. He's in the middle of Boston, but he's going to represent. You know. And then the second thing, I don't know if you can notice, they give out these commencement books, right? With the list of everybody. The number of commencement books my parents hoarded. They each have 2. I don't know why they needed 4 commencement books, but they were going to take them to the recuerdos and they're going to pass them out to the familia. You know, that's what they did. So, you know, since graduating from MIT, you know, I've gone on to do some really great things. You know, I have a great career right beyond. I've been there for 15 years. I get to work on some of the most advanced defense systems this country has. You know, I've got numerous awards. I've got a patent at work. You know, I've gotten bonuses. I've gotten all kinds of good recognition. You know, I've even met the love of my life, Carla Gonzalez. I've gone on to get a master's degree from Stanford. But there's something you guys need to realize, and I think that this is one of the key points I want to drive to you guys. Because no matter, I can almost say with a high degree of certainty, I don't care what you do in your life, there's no feeling in the world the day you get to hug the man that's been sweeping floors for so long. You know? The man who snuck into this country inside the engine bay of a 58 Chevy pickup. To hear him whisper into your ear how proud he is of you. And that voice, that cracking voice, the voice you never hear cry. Or to look into the eyes of the woman who gave you birth. The woman who's known more struggle than you can ever imagine. You know? The woman who couldn't read or write her own name, but sat across from you, teaching you math with a pile of beans. I don't care what you do in your life, guys, there is no feeling in the world like that. For many of our parents, we are it. There's a legacy they leave behind. You know, and it is in each and every one of you to make your parents' lives that relevant and that significant. You know, to see their son graduate from the 2 best engineering schools in the country. You know, and for my mom who grew up dirt poor like that. You know, it's a sense that I see them every time they wear their MIT dad and MIT mom sweaters, and the feeling I get when I see that. I don't care if you win a World Series, I don't care if you win a Super Bowl, nothing's going to come close to that. So you remember that, because it's in each and every one of you. The last thing I want to talk to you guys about is the importance of giving back. Right? This conference is possible because of all the great workshop presenters, everybody that comes and gives their time, they volunteer. We don't get paid to come to these things and to talk to you and to share with you. Our payment is to see you guys come back, see you guys go forward and conquer the world, and then come back and take our place. You know, my good friend Jack, who was on the advisory board, told me that one day, and it stuck with me. You know, that's our payment, is to see you guys come back. And I'm sharing 2 stories with you about the rewards of just the simple thing of sharing your story sometimes. Right? So I went to San Fernando High School, and I'm a proud Tiger through and through. So when I was at MIT, one of the things I would do every time I would come back home was go talk to the high school students, right? So I tell them about, going to MIT, and you guys should apply, and this and that. And one of those classrooms was a young lady. Her name was Veronica Garcia. So Vero, decided to apply at MIT. After me going to one of the classrooms and talking, she got in, and Veronica absolutely crushed at MIT. She was miserable all the time, and Vero's in the audience. But she absolutely crushed it. Vero, from there, went on and got a master's from Stanford. Just recently, Veronica got awarded a very prestigious award from HEMA as the most promising engineer with the master's degree. And I emailed her to thank her. And in her response, she shared with me the paragraph she wrote to the organization that was going to be published. Right? And in that paragraph, she thanked a couple people: her parents, her husband, and then me. Just for the simple fact that I went to high school one day and I shared my story. She blessed me with that recognition that I had a hand in her making it through MIT, Stanford, and then to get that award. That, I'm telling you guys, that feels great to have somebody recognize you like that. So the second, and this is the last story I tell, I go on and on in my story, is also a really good friend of mine. She also went to San Fernando, and in one of those times I went to go talk to the students, the counselor told me, listen, there's this girl, you really need to talk to her. She's really smart, but she's not really interested in going to MIT. So I sat down with her, and I just, I drilled into her, I used the Perez charm on her, and I just convinced her, just apply. I just want you to apply. If you don't get in, or if you do, you have that option. So sure enough, she applied. And sure enough, she got in. So then she's like, well, I don't know if I want to go. Well, just come visit, just come visit, and then you'll see if you like it or not. So she came out and visited, and sure enough, I knew when she visited, we were going to have her. So this individual, she got in, and then she decided to go. So now Nora, she's also somewhere in the crew right here, Nora Mecadena. Not only did she get 1 degree from MIT, not only did she get 2 degrees from MIT, she got 3 MIT degrees. Right? And there's one thing. There's one thing about Nora that I haven't shared with you. I thought I had it hard at MIT. Nora was a single mother, and she took her infant baby with her to MIT. Think about that. I think she's the only one who's ever done that in the history of the school. A single mother. Not only she graduated in 4 years, she went back and got 2 more degrees from that place. So this is her in Vero's room, the other San Fernando. And she has Chastity asleep on her lap, doing her homework. Right? This is when it first started. This is Nora and Chastity at graduation. And Nora is a big part of why I'm even up here talking to you today. She's been a keynote speaker at the Adelante Mujer Latina. Vero has been a keynote speaker at the Adelante Mujer Latina conference. They're both wonderful women. And these women have been so generous as to tell me how influential me just talking to them those days. And that's a great feeling, guys. It's how you get paid back for giving into the community, you get paid back 10 times. So I want you to think about that as you go forward. I know you guys are going to conquer the world. You guys are going to reach the mountaintop. Remember to give back. It's such an important part. They need help here in the team committee. You guys have seen them. If you guys want to come back and help out next year, that would be a fantastic thing. So I'm going to need you. So as you guys embark on your journeys now to conquer the world, I'm going to leave you with a quote, because you guys are all young men here. And it's a quote by Albert Einstein that I really like. He goes, try not to become a man of success, but try rather to become a man of value. And I want you to think about that when you're going home and work that. Thank you very much for your time.